Okay, graphing quadratic functions. So this is a parabola. Okay, so these things that we've been factoring for months now, quadratics, they look like this when you graph them. They look like a U shape, either upside down or right side up. Okay, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, just like a line. The axis of symmetry cuts the graph in half. And this is the formula for axis of symmetry that we're going to use. Okay, so if I have this equation right here, the first thing you should do right away is do that negative b over 2a. And it's really x equals that. So this is a, this is b, this is c. So that's negative 6 over 2 times 3, which equals negative 6 over 6, which is negative 1. So at negative 1 here, this line right here, that's where my u is going to be cut in half. It's going to look something like that, where that cuts it right in half. So that's how I'm going to make my table. So I put negative 1 in the middle, and then I'm going to do a couple above and a couple below. And I'm going to plug these numbers in for x into my scientific calculator. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. And if I plug in 0 for x into my calculator, I get negative 4. If I plug in 1, 1 squared is 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 1 is 6. So 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. And then negative 1, if I plug in negative 1, I get 3 minus 6, which is negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. And then if I plug in negative 2, I get negative 4. And if I plug in negative 3, I get 5. And notice how these are the same. Okay, that's no coincidence. Okay, that's on purpose. That's okay. That's what's supposed to happen. Saves you a little bit of time. So I'm going to graph these points. 0, negative 4, 1 comma 5. That's right here. 1 comma negative 7. Right here. And then here. So I'm going to have a U shape. Okay. Doesn't look so nice. Sorry about that. So my vertex is this point. That's my minimum value. Okay. That's my minimum value. Now, it might look like this, and then I have a maximum. You have one or the other. But that's my vertex. Okay. The axis of symmetry we already determined was x equals negative 1. That goes through that line, goes through that parabola halfway. Okay. The y-intercept is this point right here where it crosses the y-axis, 0 comma negative 4. My domain for all quadratics is negative infinity to infinity. That's easy to remember. Okay, if it's a U shape, it's going to be negative infinity to infinity. Now the range, it goes from this point, the lowest point, negative 7. That should be a bracket. Negative 7 to infinity. Sorry, this pen's not working so great. But it goes from negative 7 to infinity. And that's supposed to be a bracket right there. And that's graphing quadratic functions.